Welcome back. Now let's take a look at the FMDQ OTC fixed income market. I'm being joined by a fixed income trader at FSDH Merchant Bank, Alvin Izilian. Good afternoon, Alvin.
Good afternoon.
Now, what is the sentiment like in the market 2 days after the takeoff of the new FX policy?
We see a very bearish sentiment in the market, especially on the short end of the curve. We've seen debt and liquidity in the market. Naira liquidity now should be in the negative region because of the funding for FX, over $4 billion that was sold. So on the short end of the curve, we've seen some sell-off. So between opening and where we are now, we've seen about 50 basis point movement across most of the maturities. But more of the activities being on the short end of the curve.
Now, what's the yield traded at this moment compared to the opening yield?
Well, we've seen, like I said, 50 basis points movements from when we opened and now. For the long end, especially for the bond market, we're about 14.8. While for treasury bills, we're ranging from between 11 and 13% across the various maturities.
Now, by the time market closes today, what sort of liquidity are you going to see?
Well, not a lot of activity in this market, like I said, because of debt and liquidity. What we're seeing so far is people trying to raise liquidity to fund most of their FX transactions. So we see sell-off on the short end. On the long end of the curve, not a lot of activity going on in that market as people are maybe wary as to holding securities at that level.
Now, looking at the sentiment that you have witnessed today and going forward, what is your short-term outlook?
Well, as long as Naira liquidity remains tight, the market will still remain bearish until we have some level of comfort in terms of liquidity in the market. So we still expect to see some sell-off in the market going forward.
All right, thank you very much for your time. Alvin Izilian, fixed income dealer at FSDH Merchant. Now, human rights activist Rafael Marquez has asked Angola's Attorney General to revoke the appointment of Isabel dos Santos as head of Sonango, accusing the president of acting unconstitutionally by putting his daughter in charge of the state energy firm. Angolan President Jose Eduardo dos Santos, who came to power in 1979, appointed his billionaire businesswoman daughter as head of Sonango in June by presidential decree in a shakeup that cements his dynastic grip on power in the oil exporter. Oil sales account for 95% of Angola's foreign exchange earnings, making Sonango the biggest source of state funding.
With matters of national strategic resources, the president cannot change as he pleases the rules. He must seek requests from Parliament, and he didn't do that. Therefore, the reforms of Sonango approved by the president are unconstitutional. So there is a clear case of corruption here when the president uses his decrees, his powers, to award state contracts to his family. Within 15 days, I will return to the office of the Attorney General to seek answers, not only for these 3 early lodgings, but also for others that I have lodged last year, earlier this year, and for which I have not received any response yet. And then when we exhaust these legal remedies, as I'm saying now, rightfully, we can start seeking ways of arresting the president for constantly impeding this society to live by the rule of law, for obstructing justice.
Well, that's it on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Chimeze Obiwagu.